Hey guys, and welcome back to our video. In today's video, we are talking about the death of the legendary O.J Simpson. So just like they say, when an elephant dies, everyone is talking about the elephant. So as we know, the big news is that O.J Simpson has passed away.
A part of the reason why it's such a big story, right, is because if you're old enough and you can remember back to 1995, there was this big, huge trial. I mean, even people that are like 20 or something, they know OJ because of that,
Yes.
because of what happened back then.
Yes.
So the question is, I'll ask my wife and for everybody else, if you're old enough to remember, where were you or what you were doing when all of that happened, the white Ford Bronco chase or the not guilty verdict in the criminal trial? Like, where were you and what do you remember?
Wow. Honestly speaking, I was back in Africa and I was about, 16, somewhere there. I was still in high school, and as we all know, for a 16-year-old girl to pay attention to such stuff would be kind of not too much, right?
And this was in your hometown, right?
Yeah. And then I grew up in the house where I grew up. We didn't even have a TV. So we didn't even know who O.J. Simpson was.
Really?
Yeah. Because I only knew about the whole thing with O.J. Simpson when I first moved to Canada. And that was in 2005.
So, okay, so here, it was like just a
Yeah,
huge media thing, but...
And where were you?
But in Canada, like I was going to university. Oh, okay.
And how did you feel? So
Okay, it was in 1995, so I would have been in my second year of university back then. And that, I was still living at home with my parents. They were both still around back then. I remember, okay, it was just a huge nonstop news story, like the whole thing about the murders, and then there was the trial, and I'm not even sure like if he did the white Ford Bronco chase after the verdict or before, but
so okay, let me get this right. Like this chase that you are talking about, like what really happened? Who is that person?
I think the guy driving the Bronco was Kim Kardashian's dad, like Robert Kardashian. Is that? I mean, you can check online, see if I'm right or not, but one of his lawyers, before anybody had ever heard of the Kardashians, her dad was a really big, high-powered lawyer in Los Angeles. So that's was a big breakthrough for him. And he was one of OJ's lawyers, the dream team. They had Robert Shapiro, Johnny Cochran, Kardashian, and there was maybe even Alan Dershowitz, and I think maybe even one or two more, but like this was literally like millions of dollars for a legal team.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So I was at school and it was in the afternoon, and they had the TV was playing in the student lounge at the university there. It was a place where you could go and hang out and have a beer, and they had the TV going. And of course, this is the verdict for the OJ criminal trial, and everybody's watching. Like people want to know what's it going to be like.
So were they playing it on TV?
Yeah.
Like, well, it was high profile.
They even replayed it. Like they played the verdict live or as close to live as you could get.
Oh wow.
And then they were replaying it, even on the news, I think for like a whole day afterwards. And so I came in and I'd been following the trial and I'd been paying attention to evidence that had been presented. And I figured, no, it's going to be a guilty verdict. And then the jury came out and they said, Your Honor, not guilty, blah, blah, blah.
Oh, wow.
And yeah, I know, that was a surprise. It took me by, I wasn't expecting that.
Yeah, so you are telling me that there was enough evidence to even you think that he was guilty, he did it.
There were like gloves, and there was Johnny Cochran that said, if it doesn't fit, you must acquit. Like, that was a pretty catchy line. But I think that they shrank or something they did to them. It caused, because they were leather gloves and the leathers. Anyways, the other thing, they didn't have his footprints at the scene, but I seem to remember something about Bruno Magli shoes. They're like a $1,000, in today's money, maybe like a $3,000 Italian leather shoe.
Yeah.
And in all of Los Angeles, they were so expensive, they couldn't have been more than a couple of dozen pairs sold. Mm-hmm. And his feet were really big, like size 12 or 13 or something. So you've got the people know he's got Bruno Magli shoes, and at the scene there's Bruno Magli footprints at the crime scene, and it's his foot size, and maybe that still counts as circumstantial evidence, but still, like, the chance to fake that, I just don't see it. It doesn't.
You know what? That was not smart to go to commit a crime wearing such unique shoes.
Yeah, but then that sort of speaks to he's not thinking. Like, he goes in there and he sees his wife with the guy, and he if that's what happened. But all things added up. If you'd been watching the news and following along, and they said enough things that it was reasonable to conclude that he was guilty. However, why didn't the jury say he's guilty? And there's three reasons that come to mind. One is if you are alive, if you're a bit older, and if you remember O.J. from before, like from the 70s, 80s, and 90s in his football and his Hollywood career, that guy, he was good looking, he had a charming personality, and he was very liked. He was a football star, and then he was in some movies, he did TV commercials and stuff. People liked him, and him and his wife, they made a really nice couple. They were very popular in Hollywood, and people liked them. Yeah. So going up to the trial, there's still perhaps some influence because of that public persona, the way people perceived him favorably, even in the jury. Yeah. The second thing, his $1 million dream team legal defense, not that he's innocent, but you're talking about the personality,
best lawyers,
and what makes them so good is their persuasive ability. These guys have the force of personality to go to the jury and to convince them of just about anything. They're like the ultimate car salesman or an insurance salesman or something. They just had that ability to sway the minds of the jury, maybe with putting their own facts with the emotion. I don't know what, but those guys. So that's that people liked OJ, and he had the dream team. And then the third thing, the situation in LA that preceded the trial, the Rodney King riots. And there was, maybe there was that too, that they felt like OJ getting off was somehow balancing out in the great scheme of things. There's some kind of karma that he gets off, and that makes up for Rodney King. So the not guilty verdict.
Yeah, that was, I guess, surprising with all the evidence that was presented.
And now that you mention the evidence, that reminds me of something else, because he got not guilty verdict in the criminal trial, but following that, what I remember is they had a civil case.
Oh, okay. So they had two trials?
Yep. In the criminal trial, the burden of the burden of proof is on the prosecution.
Okay.
He's got presumed innocence, and they've got to prove beyond reasonable doubt that he did it. And the jury said no. But in the civil case was different. The burden of proof shifted to the defendant. So now it was in the civil case, it was up to O.J. to prove that he had no involvement. He wasn't in any way responsible, and he lost that case. And that was it for him. Like, he didn't go to jail, but he wasn't famous anymore. Like, people didn't like him, and he lost a lot of money. There was a big judgment against him.
But let me just get that right. Like, the dream team was not there to...
No, I don't remember as much about the civil case, but
Okay.
the dream team kept him out of jail. But whoever it was for the civil case, no, he lost that one, and that cost him big time.
Yeah.
And there was the wife's family, but there was also the family of that man that got killed. His
boyfriend.
father, Fred Goldman.
Yeah.
There was Ron Goldman and his dad, Fred Goldman. He went after O.J. he didn't want people to forget. They were only thinking of Nicole Simpson, and everybody forget about his son. And he made it his mission. Like,
Wow.
he went after O.J. because it was personal, right? He just went after him. And maybe he thought that he'd outlive O.J., but he said he would never stop going after him. And now O.J.'s gone, so I don't know. Maybe he feels different now, but you know, that's
because
it.
honestly speaking, you don't underestimate the determination of a parent. Yeah. So that's that. Well, it's so sad that he's dead, but I mean, if he's, you know, I don't know if
it's like the book, and this is the last chapter, and that's the last page, and now that's it.
Yeah, but then like the death is a result of the natural cause. You know, according to reports, he had cancer, like prostate cancer, and then he just succumbed to prostate cancer. So,
and he stayed quiet about that. Like, I suppose it's his own health, but you know, I wonder how people would have responded to that. Like, you know, we saw a picture. We were looking online at when they announced the verdict, and there was a crowd of people, and some of them reacted positively, and then there was another bunch that were like, they couldn't believe it. So I think even today, same thing, mixed reaction.
Yeah. So there you have it, guys. That's all we had to say about whatever went down with O.J. Simpson. If you have found value in this video, please go ahead and comment down below. Tell us, where were you? What were you doing?
What do you remember? And what did you think?
Yes. We would love to interact with you to see just how you feel. All right. Thank you so much, guys, for watching. If you're not yet subscribed to our channel, please go ahead and do subscribe. Don't forget to turn on the post notification bell so that each time we upload a brand new video, you are notified. Thank you, guys. We'll see you in our next video. Bye now.
Bye.